Recording. Should be going live. Hello, everybody, if you're there. Just waiting for my stream to come up. I had a busy morning, afternoon wherever you are. It's afternoon here. I am in the great state of Washington, up here in the Pacific Northwest, and it is getting cold outside. So I'm getting settled a little bit behind today. Just getting my stream up. I usually go about 10 o'clock in the morning. Looks like that's going, but today I got a little bit behind, so I had to push my stream back. So if this is the first time you're seeing me, my name is Michael Kyer, and I have been streaming now since March of 2020, right at the beginning of pandemic. I started streaming to help my church get their services online, and have been streaming ever since. And now I'm helping other streamers and doing my own thing, and still helping other religious organizations of all sorts. Sunday services every week is basically my thing. So doing what I can to help out other people while I'm here, help show some of the things I've learned. So if you're a new streamer, if you're out there, if you're thinking about streaming, I tell you, get into it, get out there, try it. You can watch some of my stuff. You get a good idea of a lot of the different pieces that you can need or that you're going to run into as you go. So I tried out some things last week and it didn't go so well. I had a bad network issue at one point and couldn't get the stream going. It looked like, if you're familiar with MTV way back in the day, there was a Max Headroom was one of the characters on there, and he did this glitchy sort of, and that was my stream. It was pretty entertaining, but if you were out on YouTube, which is where I was trying to get that to, you wouldn't have had, you would have been kind of like, what is this guy doing? Because it was pretty terrible, to say the least. So I'm not going to be doing that today. Today I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to be just here streaming onto Twitch with OBS. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today too. So I'm streaming to Twitch with OBS, and I'm going to be talking about OBS. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's called Open Broadcaster Software. And you can kind of think of it as the engine of your stream. All the pieces that you might want to have get connected to it, and then you send it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm getting audio where I want to get audio to, and because that's something, it's always a good thing to check. Okay, I'm getting my audio, so that's good. Let's see here. Okay, that looks good. So yeah, my stream's going. It's always a good idea to check things beforehand. I got in a little late, so I had to kind of check them as I went. But yeah, so today I'm talking about OBS. If you're new to streaming, or if you're starting to expand what you do with streaming, you'll start to hear about this software, and I really enjoy it. I've used it for quite a while, and it's very robust. It's very powerful. There's lots of things you can do with it, lots of things you can add to it, and it's got lots of buttons. It's got so many buttons that when you first open it up, you can be a little taken back by it, right? There's so many different things at first. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through some of the basics, kind of give you a quick orientation around the software, so that it's not quite as daunting as it can be. I know when the first time I opened it up, my eyes just kind of popped because there are so many different pieces and buttons. So if you're on Twitch and you're used to using that, you'll know how some of that works, and you can craft your scene, the scene that you're putting together. You don't just have to have a camera. You can have little, windows in there, and that's what this software will do. Is it'll show you, it'll show you how you can put in basically anything you can think of. If it's on your computer, you can attach it. You can use it as a source. You can use it as a piece or a layer of what it is you are of your content. And that's really one really good way of thinking about this before I show you, is that it is like layers on a sandwich, or a cake, where you can just layer them on top of each other. So if you've got your camera, you can layer something on top of that, you can layer something underneath it or off to the side. But it's a good way to conceptualize what it is you're working with, because it can kind of get a little confusing if you don't quite understand that these are layers on top of layers on top of layers. So what I'm going to do first is, right now what you're seeing is you're only seeing my webcam feed. That's the only active scene that I'm sending out, and the only thing I've got going on in this scene is my actual webcam itself. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little picture, a little extra source that is a display capture of my main screen. So this is going to be a picture of what I'm looking at. All right. I'm not just looking at my own self on the camera. So I'm going to open that. I'm going to turn this on now and get ready to be just absolutely blown away by this. Ready? That's it. Watch. That's it. That's it. That's it. All I did was I set up another source, which was a screen capture of my main screen. And now this picture, right there, this picture is a picture of what I'm actually looking at on my computer screen. You can just think of my computer. Let's see if I can do this. Right here, that's my computer. That's what I'm looking at. So you can sort of see what's going in there. You can see my video in there. But I want to start off that way so that you can start to get an idea of what these layers look like. So I've got this webcam layer, and now I've added this screen capture of my main screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch around to another scene that I've crafted, that I've put together. But this one's different. This one is, the main picture is of my main screen, and then my webcam feed is going to be a little picture up in that. So I'm going to switch to that real quick. All right, so just get ready. There you go. That's all it is. So now you can kind of get an idea. Well, I'll switch back to the first scene so you can see. All right, and all I did was switch to a different scene. And in this scene, instead of having my webcam big and my main display small, I've switched them around. I want to be displaying and showing you what I'm working on with my computer. So if you can see right now, you can see this little picture of me. And I'm going to move it around. This is just one of the layers, one of the sources. My source is a webcam, a picture from my webcam. And so I can turn this off, just like I did with the other scene. I'm going to turn my camera off now. Now you don't see my camera, but you can see where that source is no longer active. All right, I turned it off. I don't want to see it. It's still technically there, but it's not active. It's not part of the scene that I want to be putting out. So I'm going to double check to see how that looks on Twitch right now, actually. So I'm going to turn that back on just to see how that looks on Twitch. Let's see, and there it goes. Okay. So I'm going to take myself out of the way just so I'm not all distracting. But if you are on Twitch and you're watching me over there, or you're watching me out on the surface web, you're not actually logged into Twitch, what you're going to just see is you're going to see a picture of my main screen right now. And this is a single single source that I'm showing you. This scene is composed of just one single source. So I'm going to move the OBS box. You can see this is just like any other program, okay? When you first open it up, this is what you're going to see, and it can look a little daunting. I mean, there's a lot of different, you've got these three main boxes down here, and then this whole thing right here, whatever that is, and a whole list of things along the top. You know, if you're not used to complicated broadcasting software, this is going to maybe look a little alien, a little foreign, a little overwhelming. But trust me, you can work through these pieces with me, and you'll get a pretty good feel of how to put together at least a basic scene like this, at least a basic picture of yourself on here, and maybe a picture of your desktop. And this is how I used it for the longest time. I would use it to take a picture of my desktop, just to put a picture of me on there, just so that I could demonstrate some piece of software. And then other times I simply used it as a webcam capture, as a source, captured my webcam as just a source. So if I go back to my first scene, and let me just turn off my display, I would use this and then record myself doing something, either a presentation or some sort of a talk or something like that. And I just used it to record. I didn't use it for streaming. So there are many, many different uses you can come up for this software that aren't necessarily streaming, though it is built specifically for streaming. So I'm going to go back to my main display now and turn off my camera, just so you don't get too distracted with too many things going on there. So let's see. Let's go ahead. Okay. So if you're out there in chat, you're out there in Twitch, go ahead, leave me a message. I'll see if I can't see it somewhere on one of my feeds somewhere. I've got a number of different things I'm kind of paying attention to in the background. I'm going to show you some of that if I do get any number of people on here on chat, then I will maybe show that. Actually, let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. So I pulled out my chat box just so that if anybody's out there and you want to participate, which would be fantastic, you can. Well, there's a whole big old long list from my chat, so there's plenty of room. You can fill that up, please. All right, let's see. Okay, we're just about 15 minutes. Let me let's see what I want to do. I'm going to switch back. So, hi everybody. My name is Michael, and this is my stream. And Larry Darryl is actually a reference to an old television show. So if you're familiar with it, you can always put that in the chat and let me know if you're familiar with it. It was something I was always thought was humorous. So when you're on Twitch, you're supposed to have a really cool Twitch name or handle. Well, at least I think so. But so that was something for me that I just thought was neat. But that's where my channel name comes in. But my name is Michael Kyer, and I've been streaming I actually have to count this up, since March of 2020. So a year and, 8 months? That's a long time. I wasn't a streamer before this, but I jumped on to help my congregation stream services on Sunday, and I've been doing that ever since, and helping out other people along the way. So I hope that that's what this little show of mine is going to do. If you're working on streaming, you're working on learning software, hopefully this will be a good place for you to come and learn some stuff. So let's get back to that real quick. All right, going back to my main screen. So I just wanted to show you that this is just a program window like it is any other program. I'm going to actually move my chat out of the way. And I'm going to put this up full screen so that we can get a good look at this. Okay, so now that got really weird, and now you see screen within a 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 screen. And that is because my full screen now I've made my OBS window full screen. So my computer, what I'm looking at is a full picture of OBS. But now OBS is taking a picture of itself, which is taking a picture of itself, which is why it goes all the way, way, way out there into nothing. Well, it goes down to 1 pixel is my guess is how far it goes. So if not to make this too confusing, I can just switch. Oh, I can't do that. Let me bring up. There you go. So you can see that I've got a. You can see how my webcam feed shows up on there. Kind of give you a little dimension to what we're actually talking about. So. So let me turn that back off. Okay, so not to confuse things too many more times, what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's see, what do I want to do first? I want to, let's see, I want to restore that down so that you can see that. Okay. So now that I have got this in a way that you can kind of differentiate what we're talking about a little bit more. Okay. Now, along the bottom here, this is your main control windows. And on the right here, you can see I'm streaming. So I've got my stream turned on there, and I'm also recording. So I've got my recording turned on. And the virtual camera that will send a feed from OBS out to another piece of software. So you can use it for Zoom. And other things like that, where you make you're sending out a feed of what your OBS is doing. So instead of doing a screen share, you could do your screen share here in OBS. So but this is one of your main control blocks over here on the right side. Now you heard me talk about sources. I mentioned sources a couple of different times. And this list here is a list of those sources. So in this case, you've got my webcam is listed there, which I've turned off. You can see this little eye that's turned off, so you can't see that. But if I turn it back on, you can see how that lights up, and now it's gone away again. And the same thing with my main display. I could turn this off, but then you're not going to see anything, and then the presentation wouldn't make any sense. So let's see. Okay, so sources. These are all the pieces that are going to be plugged into Zoom, the things that you want to have potentially as part of a presentation of some sort. So for right now, like I said, I've just got my main display and my webcam. But if I go down to the bottom, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. I think you're starting to get the idea of what we're looking at. We're looking just kind of focusing right on the bottom here. Because this piece is the scene that I'm sending out. Okay? So this is what I'm sending out, which is just a gigantic picture of my desktop. So if I'm going to shrink this way, way down, you can start to see how that is just taking a picture, and then when I make it bigger is where, okay, so a picture within a picture within a picture. But for right now, we're focusing on the kind of the bottom portion here. So sources are anything that you're going to want to include in your scene. So I've got these two, but I can come down here and I can add or subtract or change the settings on or move the different sources within the scene because it's, like I said, it's like a sandwich. It's like layers. So right now my webcam is it's on, but it's on the top layer. All right, so I could move this underneath, or move it up, or down, or up. So right now when it's up, it is, when it's on the top, you can see it. But when I move it down one layer, you can't see it because the desktop layer is over it. So when you're crafting your scenes, you want to keep that in mind, that these are like layers. So you might have a source, you might have it active like it is here, but you can't find it because it might be covered up by another layer. So keeping in mind where your layers are, what your layers are as you're crafting your scenes is pretty important. So I'm going to move that back up so you can see me. Now I'm going to turn it off. Okay. So sources. Now I can go and remove any one of these. That's easy enough. But I'm going to go and add one from here. So anything you want to add as a source. And I've got a couple things pulled up that I'll show you. You can make them in Windows. But so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this submenu, and this is a whole list of different things that I can add as a source. I can add different types of audio. I can add a browser window, if you want to have a picture of, I don't know, your email or something, which is not a good thing. Don't do that. But you can have a picture or a source of, say, your weather channel. You could have a source of that weather map up and have that incorporated into your scene. Just a block of color, if you wanted to fill in something in a scene. The display capture, this is what I was doing. Game capture, any gamers out there doing your game streaming, this is one you're going to use. You're going to pull this one. Just an image or a slideshow or another type of media. You can do an entire scene can be a source. So you could have another scene that's completely put together, and you could use that as a source in another scene. So you start to understand that there's lots and lots of different ways you can layer this or combine those layers to make the presentation that it is you're looking for. And that's one I haven't really used too much, but I'm going to be. So as I get to moving along, that's one I'll start showing you as I start to fumble around in my way. But you can also add a block of text or another video capture or another window capture. So in this case, I'm going to start with a window capture just because that is where it's a simple enough thing to do. So window capture, I'm going to click on this, and it's going to bring me up this short where I'm naming my source. And in this case, I'm just going to leave it at this name. I'm not going to change the name, but you can create a new source, or if you have a series of sources, you can just add a duplicate of another source you've already created. But because we're making this from scratch, I'll just leave it at window capture, but I can rename that to anything I want. I'm going to click OK, and then that'll bring up the properties box for this. And so the current thing that it selected was my chat box, just because I happen to have that open. But I can change these if I go to which window here that I'm trying to capture, and it'll give me a list of all the different things that are open that I can take a picture, that I can pull one of the windows that I have open that I might want to add to it. But I actually made a mistake here. That's not what I want to do. I want to add, oops, go ahead and just delete this. Where'd you go? Oh, there you go. Remove, yes, remove. Okay, now I'm going to go add. I'm going to go add my browser is what I wanted to do. I wanted to add a browser. I just added another browser source. No, I don't want to add a browser. Where did what I want is go? Oh, I don't know where it is. No, that's not it. I must have closed it earlier. Okay, so this is discard. Thank you. Discard. Okay, this is where preparation comes into play. So I'm going to take a break here real quick while I pull up the thing that it was that I was looking for. And while I'm here, I'll just put my webcam up so that you can see me. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be pulling up a window that I was looking for earlier and meant to have in place before I started this, but I think I closed it accidentally. Yes, I think I did close it accidentally. Okay. Where did that go? Alright, well, we'll just do it this way. We'll make a new one. Okay, now we're going to go add browser. No, that's not what I wanted. Haha. Practice makes perfect, and I don't practice. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this one more time. Yes, I do want to remove that. Now I want to add it. Now I want to window capture it. Now, yes. There we go. That's what I was trying to get to. I was trying to get to a picture of that. Okay. So what I did was I made a window capture. You can see here window capture of this Google slide. So if I wanted to do a presentation, I could use this Google slide layered here with my picture. So I can move this around, and I could have both of these. I could have this be part over here. Maybe I want to make it a little bit bigger. So lots of ways you can use this, but it's like any of these other pieces. It's just a source. It's one of the things I have open on my computer that I can plug in to OBS and use as a source. Now this is just a blank presentation, but actually let's add something to that. That'll be a good idea to give you a little bit better sense of depth. Let's add an image. Let's search something. What are we going to search for? Let's search for computer. Computer. Okay, here's an image of a computer. We're going to insert that. Give you a little bit more. And boom. Okay, so this is would be my PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to present this. Basically, I want to make it full screen. No, stop it. There we go. So now I made that full screen on my other screen, but now you can see I've got this great looking graphic that I can resize. So this is just a window capture of a Google Slides browser window, and I can do anything with this. I could just have these two be, I could turn off my main display. Now what you see is a picture of me with a picture of my computer. So I took away that background layer. I took away all of that big picture of Zoom, and it's just these two things. So this could be any slideshow presentation that you might have, and you could use your OBS. You could focus very specifically on you, and maybe I'm going to put me up in the corner. Let's just put me up there, out of the way where I can't make any problems. So again, these are just two separate sources. You can put them, scale them. I'm going to move my webcam up one so that now you can see me. But that's that's all there is to it. It's just a bunch of different things that you can connect, and I'll be going into more of these later on, as far as how you can connect all of these. But for the time being, just give you an idea of what a source is. A source is just something. It's a source that you can plug into OBS. Now, once you've gone through your sources, actually, let me double check my stream. I'm getting a little something there that I don't necessarily like the look of. Okay, it looks fine. Looks fine. I don't know what that indicator is. Sometimes you get a red button on things, and it's worth stopping and checking out what exactly is going on. But everything looks good. I think we're looking fine. So, yep, so if you happen to be out there watching, my name is Michael Kyer, and this is my channel, Larry Daryl Daryl. It is a reference to an old TV show, so if you know what it is, let me know. And I've been streaming now for about, let me see, okay, I'm going to figure this out. About a year and 8 months, so since March of 2020. And learned a lot since then. Learned a lot since the beginning of Zoom, or beginning of pandemic, and OBS has been one of them to help get out my stream, to help others. I've heard a lot about it. I've heard lots of people use it. I started using it a while ago. I really enjoy it. It's open source. It's free, and there's so many things you can do with it. And today I'm just going through the basic orientation. I've kind of talked about sources up to this point, but now we're going to start to, once I've got a group of sources, that's a scene. This is right now, this is my scene. I've got my webcam, I've got my Google Slide window, and I've got a picture of my main desktop. So this is, if you go to the next little box here over, this is a list of scenes. This is my list of scenes. And I just have the two. I had the one that I started off with, and then I had this one that I started putting together. But I can switch between these, and now when I switch, you're not going to be able to see because it's going to change the scene altogether. But you'll see that it switches. So right now, if I click on this one that says Cam and Main Screen, that's all it's going to show. It's going to show that other scene that we started with way back some 30 minutes ago. That is the scene I started with because I wanted to show me and then highlight my desktop, but then switch to highlighting my desktop and having it show me up in the corner. So I'm going to switch to this. I'm going to click on this real quick so you can just see that it's going to switch. So now it switches back to just the camera view. Okay, so and I also have my main display as a source on this, but it was turned off. It wasn't active. So if I switch back, now you can see this top scene here, which is my main scene in my camera. So it's really important as you go through this to label these in a way that makes sense to you. You can just simply number them. Scene 1, Scene 2, Scene 3, Scene 4, Scene 5. That's if you're doing a pretty straightforward show or something along those lines. That's a really good way. It'll stick right with your script or your run of show form or your scene list or whatever it is. So labeling things is an important piece. But so it's scenes here. I can add a completely other scene in the same way I added a source. So maybe I've got these two scenes that I've put together and I want to come up with, I don't know, a third one. I can start adding those in the same way I did sources. I can add that scene, I can add sources to it, and I'll start building a really, really nice show with that. And so if you're streaming and you want to have more than just a picture of you or more than just a picture of your desktop, you can make any number of scenes and be able to switch very easily between them. You can see here that all I need to do is click on these and I switch completely what I'm doing. So that's the basics really of OBS. Now you're looking at this big audio mixer over here, and anybody who's really into OBS is going to look at this and go, what is he doing? But this is just a number of different audio sources where I can monitor what's going on with those. I can mute them, and I can change the settings on them, and give me an idea of what's going on with my audio as I go through my show. So let's see. Right above that, I want to point this out real quick. This line here has got all your information about your current source that you have selected. So in this case, I've got my window capture, and this gives me the direct information about what that source is. So when I change this to my webcam, it'll give me a different set of controls because it's a webcam. So I can deactivate it from here, deactivate the camera completely, or I can turn it back on. So there are, and then each one of these, has this. It shows that this is my primary monitor, and then some of the information associated with it. So lots of different things that you can kind of keep an eye on of where you're at. And so, and this is just some quick features, some quick actions that you can get to. And then I'm going to actually get my webcam out of the way. So, and then up at the top, you've got a pretty standard list of your options here. File, as you have in most programs. This is an important button right here. Settings. This is really important. That's important. This is important. This is important. So settings. This is where you're going to go to set just about everything for this OBS profile. So I'm going to pull that up real quick just to show you. But there's general settings. There's settings for your stream and output and audio. This is a big one. Lots of different audio options you can set here. More hotkeys. Video, same. Big list of hotkeys. If you get really into this, you can really customize what you're doing, and some more advanced settings. So as you go into it, this is a good thing to know where it's at. It's way up here, File, Settings. Editing, different views. You can change these, and I'm going to show, that's probably going to be the last thing I'm going to show, is how you can change around what OBS looks like. It's pretty cool. And then a scene collection. So we had our sources. Each set of sources built us up a scene, and then we can have a scene collection, which would be a show. So you can have your entire show listed as, my show. Right now this is an untitled show. I don't have any other in here. But that's where this would be a whole, entire, groupings of scenes. So more tools. Oh, wonderful help. You gotta know where the help is. And Stream Elements is a additional piece I put on here, but it's got different docs and different windows you can add to this, because there's so many other things that you can add to OBS, and that's just one of them. So yeah, okay, so and then one last thing here I'm going to go into is the studio mode. So right now what I've been showing is basically just a single screen, a single window, and then I'm broadcasting that out to Twitch. But if I want to go into studio mode, now what you're going to see is you're going to see two screens. So one, this one on the right, is the one that I'm actually sending out to Twitch. But now I've got this one on the left. This is the one that's ready to go. This is my preview. This is the next scene that I'm going to send over to OBS. So if you look on the right, you can see that I've got my camera and my main screen is selected. So that's what this one is. And then this is the one that I'm actually sending out And that one is the program that's right here on the right. So now I've got my next scene ready to go, previewed, and I'm going to switch it. So when this goes over to Twitch, now the only thing you're going to see is my webcam. Okay, so we're going to just fade out. Now, this was the preview. Now it's the live program. So now all you see is me, and I'm going to switch back. I'm going to just cut this one real quick. Okay. Okay. So it switches between the two. This preview, if I had more than just the two scenes, this could be any scene. I could preview that, get ready for any scene. While I'm still sending this one out, I can see what's coming next. So that puts you, that's now your production. You know, you're switching from one scene, you're putting your show together, boom, 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 boom. And many broadcasting pieces of software like this, where you'll have some sort of a preview window of what's coming next, and then the actual live feed, your live program. And this is really, really handy. I like this. And you can get all of these special transitions, and you can add all sorts. You can change the timing on them. That can be pretty cool. You can have it be a longer transition or a shorter transition, and any number of different types of transitions. So yeah, like I said, lots of things, lots of customizations. That's the cool thing. That for me, especially, I really like to be able to have that flexibility, have that that ability to craft what it is that I want to put out. And so when you're getting into streaming, that's something, you know, what is it that you want to put out? These are just the tools. You know, it's not going to do it for you. But I would, you know, love to help show you the tools, and hopefully you can get out there and do some creating on your own, because your voice is important. It really is, especially nowadays. Getting out good, positive messages is important, and if the software is an obstacle, it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be scary. So my name is Michael, and I am doing a quick quick orientation of Open Broadcaster software today. I went through a little bit about sources, and that's all the things that connect in to OBS. And I did a little bit about the combination of scenes. Now, I switched over to studio mode, which you can see down here at the bottom, right next to my recording, which I'm recording and I'm streaming. Studio mode is where you've got these two panels, your preview panel and your program panel. Now, I'm going to wrap up for the day after this, but this is one of the things I want to show. This is really cool. Once you're completely confused with everything I just showed you, as far as all of these windows over here, and windows within windows, and layers within layers, and sources and scenes and scene collections, and whatever else, this is the cool part. I found this out, and I think this is really cool. Watch. You can take it apart. Oops. Maybe I can take it apart. You can take it apart. Completely take it apart. Move all these pieces around wherever is convenient to you. Resize them. If you're really paying attention to your audio, resize your audio, make it bigger. You got a big long list of scenes, pull it out, make it bigger. Maybe you don't care about it at all, put it up there out of the way. Sources, you got a whole bunch of sources you want to pay attention to, put it over there. Make it as big or as small as you, well, it only goes so small. I guess that's as small as it goes. But that's one of the things about OBS that really caught my eye, is that it's very customizable. If you can be comfortable with if you can be comfortable with manipulating software, moving things around, you can really highly customize this into something that makes sense, that fits with your workflow, with your stream, with your style. Whatever it is that you need to get done, you can rearrange this software in any number of ways. And this is just the basic software. This isn't even all the additional plugins that go with it. So there's a little box with my controls. We'll put those up there out of the way. Sources, I'm going to be paying attention to those a little bit. Let's see, I'm going to make that a little bit. Make that a little bit smaller. I'm not going to be messing with that too much. But my scenes, I'm going to be switching between these a lot. So I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to keep an eye on my audio pretty good. I'm going to put that up there, because that's going to be important for something for me. I'm going to move my scenes right there. Scene transitions, I'm not going to be using that too much. I'm going to put that over there out of the way just in case for right now. So now I've taken my basic OBS window and taken it completely apart, and I can put it wherever I want. And I think that that is just the neatest thing. It's like digital Legos. You know, it's something that's fantastic. So even if you don't use it, that's fine. But just to know that you can customize this, know that you can take it apart, and putting it back together. Oops, putting it back together. Sure thing, Mike. Putting it back together. Sure thing, Mike. There you go. I want my controls. I want my controls. There, I'm going to put my scene transitions back in there. I'm going to put my audio mixer back in there. So, there it is, all nice and neat, put back together. There it is, just like it was. That's it. So, I think that that's a really neat thing. I played with that for a very long time just by itself. I didn't get any work done. I just kind of moved that all around. And found out all the different things you could do with it, just because I like playing with software. I like seeing what it can do or can't do. You know, that's a big piece of this for me. I did, if you've been following my stream for any time now, I did a show last week, I think it was, on Twitch, and I like Twitch. I really, really like Twitch. It's a very good starting point when you're first getting into streaming. A lot of these things that OBS does, it's sort of already preset in a pretty nice way, and preset in a pretty nice way, and pretty user friendly. So, but when you get you can get into this OBS thing and you know, just expand your options. So I think that's about it. That was the last thing I really wanted to show today. After I think the first of the year, I'm going to start getting into doing some more really in detail focus on some of these, and focus on the audio sources especially, and we'll go through and pull and show how you can, a lot of the different things you can do with the scenes and the sources, and then all these other parts as well. So I'm going to switch out of studio mode, and I'm going to turn my webcam back on, and I'm there. So we're back to kind of moving back the direction we came. Made it a little bit less complicated, put up just my window, now just my webcam. I'm going to switch back to just me. That's OBS in a nutshell. I hope you learned a little something anyway. I'm going to be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My name is Michael Kyer, and I've been streaming for quite some time now and learned a lot, and I'm happy to share what I've learned. And that's what I'm out here doing, adding my little stream to the great river that's the internet. So have a great December. I hope to see you Wednesday. If not, you can always check me out on YouTube and see the recordings of these there. And until then, stay safe, get your vaccines, have fun, and make sure you learn something. Learn something every day. It's good for you. All right. See you later.